Hello and welcome to episode 9 of the Before the Buzzer podcast. The boys are here, Alex and Cheyenne, on this beautiful Monday morning, national championship Monday morning. How are we doing, boys? Alex, I know UConn, your team is in it tonight. How are you feeling?
Let's go Huskies. I feel great about the game tonight, bro. There's no way we lose. I'll save it for later when we talk about it. But I'm on the team now. Bro. But for real. I'm doing good. I'm doing solid. It's very sunny right now where I am, so that's nice. We love a bit of sunshine. Excited
You
to
are
excited
my
to work.
sunshine.
Shine. Yeah, exactly. I feel like LeBron's aura just coming in through the window and blazing me. I love it. Okay, Cheyenne, what's up?
Pretty solid morning. Maybe I'll watch the game. Maybe I won't.
Bro, watch the game. What else you need to
No,
do?
it's because I have class when it starts.
So do I. I have class at like 7, so it's like the worst
Wait,
part.
what time? It starts at like 5 or 6.
It starts at 6 o'clock. Guess who will be boots on ground at the game?
Quarter.
I might be sitting like 5 miles away from the court, but that doesn't. What matters is I can say I was there, and I will be there to see the matchup of the century. But before that, as you know, y'all might know, championship is here in Phoenix, so I made it out to the Fan Fest. Went out there, did a couple things, got picture with Kenny the Jet Smith. That was pretty cool. Got some. I didn't get any signatures. Got some pictures with some other players, whatever. But I did get out to the Creator League yesterday. Some interesting names in the Creator League yesterday. If you're not familiar, it's this league where they pull, some older players. I don't want to say washed, but older players. They had Paul Pierce there, DeMarcus Cousins. Boogie was there. He was like the best player.
He should be. He's like 6'11".
Cash Nasty was there. Friga popping off yesterday. They had some interesting people. Josh Richards was there. If you're on TikTok, you know who that is. I don't know what he was doing. He was on Boogie's team, so he just passed him the ball. But and the main event, Julian Newman was there with his dad, Jamie. Jamie was coaching him up after every game. He went over.
Are they still trying to make it to the league, or
I think he is. But I did get a video of Julian like on DeMarcus Cousins, and Cousins is just posting him up, and he's just like half the size of him. It's like the funniest. But I think it's cool, the events they put on this week. I will say I think they did a pretty good job. I think it was really crowded yesterday. The fans really showed up. I think all around it was a good event. If you are going to watch the Creator League, I'm going to spoil it. DeMarcus Cousins team won. So congrats to Cash Nasty, DeMarcus Cousins, and Josh Richards for
Cash Nasty probably carried, right?
Cash
Big
Nasty.
fella.
He did nothing. It was all DeMarcus. But I think it does bring up a good point in where we always, think like, oh yeah, this NBA player is washed, or like, oh yeah, they're out of it. But I mean, maybe Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce was kind of washed. Cam Newton, by the way, Cam Newton was there too. I think the guy is like crazy. He kept like yelling stuff while shooting threes and bricking. But I think it does.
CCE.
It might be. It does bring up a good
point.
Did
he have the hat? Did he have his like big ass hat?
Oh, he had a hat like up to here. He had a special hat actually. It's like custom made. It's like this long. But I think like DeMarcus was just so much better than everyone else. Like one leg, like fadeaway threes, like turnaround jump shots. Like I think it does bring up a good point of even if an NBA player is like retired or they're not good.
33, bro. That's kind of crazy, bro. He's only 33.
He's not even that old, but the injuries.
Like he's still in his prime, pretty much. Like
the injuries. Well, I would say that just because the injuries have caught up with him at this point. I feel like he's just unfortunate injuries, but he still got some good game. And I think it brings up the good point of you would not beat an NBA player; they would dog you. Nick Young
like
too.
Brian Scalabrine said. Like Brian Scalabrine said, he's closer to LeBron than we are to him.
That is very true. Very much
lucky
true.
Man.
But okay, speaking of bigs, let's get to the game tonight. You got Donovan Clingan on one side. You know, he had a good performance last time. What do you have, like 18 points? I think like around like rebounds.
He played great. That's what his impact was insane. Those passes.
But we all know why we're there. We're there for the National Player of the Year. We won't talk about that. The man charged with bringing back Purdue to the promised land. Zach Edey versus Donovan Clingan. It's going to be a movie. I think this is more about the Purdue side of the floor. I think Clingan, his job tonight is not going to be necessarily to score. They certainly want to put pressure on Edey on the defensive end, but his main job tonight is going to be to neutralize Zach Edey. So, Pritch, I know you watch a lot of UConn, but you've probably seen a lot of Zach Edey. And Zach Edey didn't necessarily completely dominate last game. And by completely dominate, I mean, he still had 20 points and 12 rebounds. It's still a great performance for anyone else. But this game, for Purdue to win, he's got to be the guy, and they're going to have to go against Clingan. What do you think is going to happen tonight as those two face off?
I don't think I think he's probably going to still numbers, right? Because he just is such a great player. But I think if there's one duo that can neutralize him in the country, it's the big man rotation of Clingan and Samson Johnson. I mean, just watching the game against Alabama, like the difference, there wasn't really a difference with Clingan and Sat, and then they had the subs on, right? And obviously Edey plays the whole game because of his great conditioning. But the thing is, you can make up for that because you have Samson Johnson off the bench, who's a great backup big. This athletic guy who runs the floor. He can guard guys, and that's just, for me, I just don't see a world where UConn loses just because defensively, what does Purdue do? What can Purdue do against this UConn team? Everything's been tried against them, and it just doesn't work. You tried sacking off of Castle, and you try protecting the basket, that doesn't work. We saw that. Hurley is just a great coach. He can get around it. I mean, you have Edey, which is definitely something which is an asset, but is that really going to change anything considering how good Huskies are from the perimeter? I mean, I will say, I don't think UConn wants to sit on the perimeter all night and shoot threes. I think they're fine taking over, but they want to get good shots. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
We've seen Edey take away some of the shots at the rim. I mean, DJ Burns, as much as we love him, I mean, he was barely a factor. Partially that was foul trouble, but even when he was on the floor, wasn't much for him, and that's just a credit to how good of a defensive player Edey is.
To be fair, though, he is a big guy, and DJ Horn was getting his buckets, though. You got to give him credit. Even though it wasn't as efficiently, scorers can still score against Purdue, even with Edey. They can still take their mid-range.
By the way,
DJ
Horn, ASU. Just wanted to
ASU, shout out to him. But yeah, but yeah, the thing is with UConn is their offense is so varied. They have so many options they can go to. Everyone on the floor can score. You have Caravan, amazing shooter. You have Spencer, an amazing shooter. You have Castle, great guy, all-rounded guy who showed even though he's a weaker shooter, he showed he can hit his threes when he's open and get to the basket. He can be efficient. He was efficient as the roller in the pick and roll as well. That's what they used against Alabama because they had the big guarding him. And then you've Clingan, who he can score back to the basket too because he's just so huge. I don't think they'll go that way just because Edey can kind of make up for the height and the girth. You know what I mean? I don't think Clingan doesn't have necessarily an advantage down there, but they have so many options. They have so many ways to score. I just don't see a way where Purdue can stop them defensively. That's the main thing to me. UConn's offense is so well rounded, and plus they're an amazing defensive team. They have an amazing matchup against Edey. So I just don't see a world where they lose.
Well, another interesting thing is I think Purdue is best when they play teams that kind of play a slower paced game. So I think it'll be, kind of intriguing to see if UConn tries to, speed the game up on them and get them out a little bit more in transition. I think Purdue, when you try to play that slow physical style of ball, they've won most of those games this year, but that's also how UConn has won as well. So I think it'll be a good game, a close game. I picked Purdue to win my bracket, so obviously I'm going to say I think Purdue is going to come out on top, but I think it'll be a close one. Cheyenne, any thoughts on the game tonight, or you still mulling on Kentucky?
I think kind of depends on how else Stephon Castle's gonna do a bit because he's been kind of inconsistent last couple of games. Last game he
Did you
played
watch the
really
last
well
game?
though. He
Yeah.
had like 21 points or something, but the
Yeah.
game before that he didn't really do shit. So I'm gonna be really excited to see how he does throughout this game, and very intrigued to see how Braden Smith does. Big boy
Braden Smith.
Adams' favorite
Yeah,
player.
besties.
I was able to get a picture with Braden Smith.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He played like ass though.
He
If
did.
you curse him,
He played
thunderstruck.
really
You got him
bad.
thunderstruck.
I think he was just getting that game out the way so to save it for the championship.
Okay, bro, 0 points, 5 turnovers in the first half. Like he had 2 dribbles off his foot for a backcourt.
I don't know.
Like,
Hey,
bro,
big players got to
what
step
is
up
that?
in big moments. He's gonna step up.
That's his. That's his. Okay, the thing is, I just don't trust the Purdue supporting cast at all. And I think the game against NC State.
We would argue last game was probably their best game of the tournament, was it not? Of the Purdue
Like the supporting cast.
Yeah,
that's fair. But at the same time, like you only beat NC State by like 12, and NC State did not play well the whole game. Like that's the thing. Like I just was not impressed with NC State at all. It feels like they were really struggling, and yet Purdue kept giving them ways back into the game. Like it was a pretty close game until the end.
Well, I thought UConn also in the first half of that Alabama game was kind of uncharacteristic of themselves. There were chances where they could have got a rebound.
UConn's just the second half team though. Like remember they were like tied with like Illinois, and then they went like 30-0.
But it is concerning to see them give up second chances to a team like Alabama. I know there are some long rebounds just because of how many threes they shoot, but to give up second chances and then Alabama comes back off the second chance and makes them pay. Can't do that against Purdue. They will, because they hold on to the ball. That's long possessions. If you give them a second chance and they score, that's a real killer possession. So they got to rebound.
But also, UConn had more offensive rebounds in the whole game than Alabama did as well.
Yeah,
so it's like they made up for it.
Alabama is a little bit undersized, I will say.
Yeah.
You see how many threes they shoot. They need guys that are a little bit more nimble in the frame to shoot those threes. So
yeah.
I just think UConn has to stay true to who they are, and maybe throw a little curveball in on the offensive end, just try to speed Purdue up. But I think in terms of rebounding, the way they attack on offense, I think they have to stay true to who they are. But I did mention. Any thoughts on John Calipari leaving Kentucky to go to Arkansas?
Rob's coach. Overtime is basketball brain rot, bro. I'm sticking to that. It's ridiculous at this point. But honestly, I think it's a solid move. It's kind of a weird move to go to Arkansas just because of the SEC link, and the fact it just seems like a weird hire for Arkansas. But I do understand it, and I definitely see why Calipari left because he was kind of running out of time at Kentucky. He was consistently struggling in the postseason, both in the SEC and in the NCAA tournament. And it's just his time was up, and that's okay. And I hope he does well at Arkansas. But I feel like it just seems like I thought he would maybe go somewhere like a Big 10 program, a Big 12 program, something like that. But yeah, good for him, I guess. I think it's a good move. I guess we'll see what he's really made of at Arkansas, where he's not going to have the same recruiting advantage or the same pedigree of like recruiting that he had at like Kentucky. He hasn't necessarily like he has to kind of prove himself all over again. But we'll see how he does. He's a good coach, even though he's struggling a bit.
I will say it all comes back to ASU because listen, ASU beat SMU, who went on to have not so great of a season. Right? They go out, they bring in Andy Enfield from USC. By the way, that we didn't get to talk about that, but Andy Enfield leaving USC to go to SMU.
And Musselman going to USC.
Went to USC, who, I think it was a good hire for them. I don't know what you guys think, but
I agree.
I think it was a good hire for them. And then opening at Arkansas, John Calipari comes to Arkansas. So at the end of the day, it all really just comes back to ASU.
It's all Arizona State.
But I will say, I think Calipari, he felt the pressure from Big Blue Nation. That's cool. Big Blue Nation. Yeah, but I think he certainly felt it. It'll be interesting to see if he keeps his recruiting philosophy of bringing in 5 stars and focusing on getting the top young talent, just because of how the game has shifted with older players kind of not dominating the sport. with the transfer portal and NIL, but I do think that it's a good hire for Arkansas. I understand why he left Kentucky. I mean, Kentucky kind of quietly fired him under the table. I think they just didn't want to pay his money. So he takes the Arkansas job. It is a little strange he stays in the SEC, but we've seen it happen before. And I think it's just a good hire for Arkansas. I know it was tough for them to lose Eric Musselman. I'm interested to see where Kentucky will go now. I think Nate Oates at Kentucky, their coach of Alabama. I know they just had a Final Four run, but money talks, and there's going to be more resources. And his style of let's get up and down and run, I think Kentucky fans would be excited to watch that. And I think it would just be on crack at Kentucky. So if I was them, I think I'd be doing everything to get him first. But Cheyenne, can you tell us why you jinxed Kentucky and now have led to the firing of John Calipari by picking him?
Well, here's the thing, boys. I fell into the little overtime trap of, oh my God, Rob, he's so shifty. Oh my God, the way he walks is so shifty. Like I fell into that trap, like I just wanted to see bro win, I just wanted to see him up. Kentucky always has like the flashy players, the exciting, the 5 stars. They just got the swagger. And I don't know why. I gravitated towards that, and look at them now. Their coach is left.
Yeah. Okay. One thing though.
I apologize. I mean, maybe not. Maybe this is a good thing. They might actually move far in the tournament.
All right, real quick. I have one thing to say. I think that this kind of signals the end of the freshman of recruiting like multiple freshmen one and dones, and like relying on them to get you like a championship or to get you like far in the postseason. Obviously that's Kentucky's kind of thing for the last like 10, 15 years, where they get all these 5 stars and they put them all together and they make it work with all the talent, regardless of like, necessarily fit a lot of the times. It's just we get as much talent as possible, we make the most out of the talent, and hopefully the talent kind of powers us to success under Coach Cal. But I think this is the end of the 5-star reliance. I think the transfer portal is going to be so much like utilized now, where it's so much more efficient and better to just build a team with guys from the transfer portal rather than trying to get a bunch of 19-year-old kids. Like we saw with Kentucky, like these inexperienced kids like Reed Shepherd, Bob Dilliam, as much aura as they may have, like they struggled when the lights were bright and they had to do stuff against a weaker team like Oakland, which I predicted, by the way. But just to say that. but honestly, I think we're going to see a lot more recruits like Castle or UConn, where it's a fit-based thing. You get like one or 2 good recruits, and that's it. And then you build the rest of the team out with the portal, and you just try and make it fit to what you need as a roster. Like Castle was something they needed on the team, and they brought him in, and he's been great. So I think that's kind of the way teams are going to approach, the big teams are going to approach recruiting from now
on. Well, you say that now, but have you seen Duke's recruiting class for next year?
That's fair.
They have 4 5-star players committed to play there. That's a whole starting
exception.
And then you throw in a maybe a Proctor stays for Duke this year. If he stays, that's a 5-star. All 5 stars.
Insane,
And then they have 2 4-star guys they're bringing off the bench. So I think
it's insane. 2 bigs too. They have 2 5-star bigs. Like it's insane.
I think it's going to be a shift towards that. But whenever there's a massive shift,
Duke's going to win the championship next year.
Whenever there's a massive shift, right? We saw the massive shift towards freshmen and getting as high of a recruiting class as possible. It left the door open for teams that were mid-majors to have older players, right? That's what made them different. They had older players. Now maybe we see a shift of, okay, everyone wants to go old. Maybe that opens the door for a team that, isn't as high right now in their state of the program to say, all right, well, if you don't want to go get the high recruits in the state, we're going to go get them. And maybe that becomes a strategy. Teams that are looking to improve upon their standing, because, I mean, you're not going to be able to outbid the top contenders if
the problem with that, though, is that, like, I think these guys are going to get poached for the NIL and all that stuff. They're just going to – maybe you develop these guys for like a year, and then they just leave because there's more money elsewhere, And that's something where if you're a smaller program, that's not something that's, like, really, a It's just not sustainable.
Well,
as a
I don't know if it's going to be a smaller program thing.
Like a mid-major. Like I saw a mid-major,
A
like
mid-major,
American,
yeah.
Team of the American or something. Like that kind of like a Mountain West American kind of team, like a high-end mid-major, like that kind of like they're gonna leave as soon as they see something better. As soon as like the NIL money starts talking, like this is something I don't think the small programs are gonna necessarily do that just because like there's not much reward for a lot of risk. That's the only thing.
Well, it's just tough because these small programs will never outbid an SEC school or a Big Ten school, Big East school, or a Big 12 school. It's just impossible. They don't have the resources. So it'll be interesting to see where they go from here. But I do think there will be some opportunities for schools to take advantage of the fact that maybe they're not recruiting all the top players in the state, and you can go out and get one of them, even if it's a one and done, whether it's to the portal or to the draft. I mean, it might pay dividends down the road. But I do want to kind of see the NBA. One last thing on the college. I took a picture with Kenny the Jet Smith, and I asked him one question. In a 1v1, who are you taking? Celtics, Shaq?
No, that's not the point. That's not what you asked the guy, bro.
Charles Barkley. And
Okay,
he said Celtic. He thought about it, and he said, Celtic, Shaq. That's a good question. So I got a good question.
Okay, bro. I thought you were gonna say you asked him fucking Celtics, Derek White, or Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young.
No,
I was like, no fucking way would you ask him that. Okay, yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question, bro. I thought he'd be like, no fucking way.
He said, I was surprised actually. I thought he was gonna say Chuck because I looked at the stats after. Chuck actually had like higher points per game, whatever. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's still Shaq. So who would you guys go with? Last year of Charles Barkley on the Rockets or Celtic Shaq? Kenny said Celtic Shaq.
Look up the Charles Barkley stats real quick. I mean,
is it prime?
The thing is,
prime
Barkley
Shaq?
was like,
no. The whole point of it is they're both washed. That's why it's like,
I think you think Celtic Shaq because the physical. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
Celtic
It's like,
Shaq
you know,
was
like
still like 7'1", fat as fuck. Like,
Cheyenne, you know, like
at least he's tall.
That meme, right? It's like the washed meme. Like anytime something's washed, you just push Celtic Shaq under it.
Oh yeah.
So Cheyenne, who are you taking? Celtic Shaq or
Celtic
Chuck on the
Shaq.
Rock?
Celtic Shaq.
You can't take Celtic.
I mean,
Shaq.
hey, fucking
You gotta take
last
Celtic
season,
Shaq,
Charles
bro.
Barkley averaged 14.5 points.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
That's
saying.
kind of crazy, you know.
Damn.
And he was attempting over. He's okay. I mean, actually, but I think in a 1v1, like Shaq is just so much bigger, and he's still an NBA athlete at the end of the day. Like he was still able to. I think in Shaq. There's one thing I want to do real quick. Try and guess the top 5 Duke recruits ever in terms of their ranking going into Duke.
Okay.
This is at the bottom of the
Barrett.
list. Okay, RJ's number 2. RJ's number 2.
Zion.
No, not Zion.
Jaleel.
Tons of 5 stars, by the way. There's just like Jaleel Okafor is 7th. He's not. He's on the list.
Kyrie.
No.
JJ Redick.
Marvin Bagley.
Bagley's number 3.
Bagley's a good guess. Yep.
Come on, man. Don't play with me.
Wait, is Cooper Flag a top 5?
Cooper's number 1. He's number 1.
No way. Oh,
he's a flat 1.0 recruit.
This is inflation.
Yeah, him and RJ Barrett are the only 1.0 recruits.
No way.
Now you got 4 and 5. You have 4 and 5 right now.
No, RJ Barrett in high school had like every award, bro.
Hey, the last 2 guys, 4 and 5. One of them is a younger player in the NBA.
Jabari Parker.
No, it's a young. One's a younger guy, and the other one is someone you'll never think of. Like I promise, if you get it, then I'll send you money.
All right, but how recent was the guy you'll never get?
Last 5 years. No, sorry. Like the recent guy is last 5 years. The guy that was he was class of 2005.
Oh no!
He's NBA veteran.
Grant Hill.
No, what? That was like 90s.
No.
I don't know.
See, I didn't know. I think this guy went to Duke. Never mind. Actually, was like this good. Okay, he played on he played for Portland, Indiana, the Lakers, the Magic, the Hornets, and then the Miami. He ended his career with the Dallas. He was a role player. He was a big guy.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Okay, the recent guy. Figure out the recent guy. Okay, figure out the recent guy. Last 5 years.
Jason Tatum.
No, last 5 years.
I don't. Tatum wasn't.
Fuck.
If I give you the class, you're gonna get it. So I'm trying to avoid giving you the class. I know.
No, don't give it. Don't give it.
I don't.
So,
Outside of
what years and now? 20.
He underwhelmed at Duke, but he was still a lottery pick.
one of like the Jones brothers.
Cam Reddish?
No, not Reddish. No, Reddish is a good guess.
No, because I was like, he's below Zion. So I was like,
Yeah, that's a shit.
All right,
Underwhelmed it.
we're not gonna get this.
No, okay, this one you're gonna get. Okay, big guy.
Big guy.
Just think of Duke big man. I had no idea he was ranked this high, by the way, too. I knew he was a 5-star, but I didn't know he was like
Oh, wait.
this insane a prospect.
Is it fucking Mark Williams?
No. Do you want me to just tell you?
Sure.
Okay. The fifth all time is Derek Lively. That's the younger guy.
No way he was
That
that
much?
high. I knew he went to
Exactly.
Duke. No way.
0.9996.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
And then,
That's
okay,
crazy.
fourth place, there's no way. This is insane to me. Like, I have no idea how he's this good. Josh McRoberts.
All right,
I don't even know.
What?
that.
All right.
Bro, 0.9998. That's insane,
crazy.
bro. Like,
All right.
he's tiny eyes, too.
How are we?
Yeah, that was the fun one. I was curious to see anyone would get that. But, yeah, that's
Well,
insane.
if you guess Josh Roberts at home or Mick Roberts at home, you win a prize.
yeah,
but-
DM us.
But anyways, let's transition to
Silver
the
penny.
NBA now. Now that
Right.
we had our little transition to the NBA, let's get into it. Obviously, the story as of late has been the Western Conference play-in scenarios right now. You got Suns sitting at 6, who have made a jump. I mean, the Suns are sitting at like 8, and now
Yeah, they were low, yeah.
they jumped up all the way to 6. Now we should preface when we say they jump up to 6, they're also tied with the Pelicans, 1.5 above, or no, only 1 game up on the Kings, and only 1.5 on the Lakers, who have the tiebreaker over them. So this is going to be close, Alex. I mean, right now, I think Phoenix, with the way they've been playing, even if they have the toughest schedule, maybe some teams sitting out players at this point in the season, probably going to secure that 6th spot. But there's some matchups. I think the Pelicans play they just played the Suns. Pelicans still have to play the Kings. Lakers still play the Pelicans. So I think it's going to be close here. As a Laker fan, I'm just hoping to get to 7 or 8. I don't want to be you have to win 2 games or you're out. But it's going to be close, especially Lakers had a tough loss last night without LeBron, who was sick. That's pretty.
AD got in the eye, right?
And then AD, eye again.
He got touched, bro.
Got
so
touched
soft.
in the eye.
Me personally, I would not have let that slide. I would have just stayed in the game and won the game. That's just me. But like,
Yeah,
if he wants to do him, that's okay, you know.
That's just a tough scenario.
Rui played well. Dude, Jackson Hayes went
played
so
really well.
crazy once AD went out though in the in like the third quarter.
Yeah, that's why
like
Jackson
They
Hayes
just spammed D-Lo,
carried.
Jackson Hayes pick and roll. Bro, I swear they did like the same play 3 times in a row, and he just got like a wide open dunk. They could not contain that man.
Yeah, they
It's
still
working
lost.
out.
I mean, they could to an extent. Okay, Deal had 50. Yeah, they all played well. I'll give you credit.
No, D'Lo. I mean, D'Lo played okay, but he didn't shoot the ball well. Austin Reeves didn't shoot the ball well. Like our 2 best players, like when
The thing is,
AD
if
went
you look at
out,
the
they didn't
depth-
shoot well.
Yeah, like if you look at the depth right now, like suppose the next game, like LeBron and AD aren't playing,
Like,
you're gonna have a rotation of like
After Jackson Hayes, we don't have another big. Like at that point, we
yeah,
put Rui at
like
the
your
5.
rotation's gonna be
Like,
Torian Prince, Cam Reddish, Max Christie, and then
What are we even talking about here? The Lakers aren't winning anything if they don't have LeBron or AD. It doesn't.
you're right.
Yeah.
But even no, I mean the regular season games, like trying to just get like move on the.
Well, they
standing.
could
don't have
beat
AD
the
next game.
Grizzlies. They could beat the Grizzlies. They have the Warriors.
Oh,
If LeBron is back, they can beat the Warriors at home. I mean, it'll probably be a good game, but they could probably beat the Warriors at home. And then the Pelicans, big one last game.
I think it'll come down to the Pelicans game because I think the Pelicans, what are they, 1 game ahead or 2?
Yeah, they're also on a
Yeah,
bad. They're struggling right now.
1.5.
Yeah,
They are.
Ingram went down. Okay, so let's go through it. The Suns have The Suns have played the Clippers twice, the Kings and the
Yeah.
Timberwolves, which obviously is a hard schedule. The Clippers, like Adam, you mentioned, some guys that they play might rest some guys. I don't think any of those teams can rest anybody.
Well, I don't.
They're gonna come out to play. You know,
The Clippers might. The Clippers
They
might
could
get to a
beat.
point
they still
They
need
could
to
beat
get that 4 seed,
Minnesota.
though.
on the second
I
of
still
because they
think-
play a back-to-back against the Clippers, right? Or
Yeah, they do.
Or
They
is
do.
that- so they play a
They play
back-to-back
back-to-back.
against. There's a chance on the second of the back-to-back they decide to rest
Yeah,
guys
maybe.
with the Mavericks and they can't get up to the 3. And then, yeah, I'm not sure with the Warriors. At some point, they might be locked into the 10, and I believe they don't just play the Lakers. I think they also play. Yeah, if they lose to the Lakers at that point, I think they'll be locked in, and I believe they play one of the Suns or Pelicans or Kings.
Yeah.
So they might be in a scenario where they rest guys, especially a guy like Steph, who if you don't have him, you're not winning any games in the play-in. So
Clay went crazy the other day, though.
he did, but they're
25
not
in the first half. My friend bet the over.
at this stage of the season. If you don't have your best player, you're gonna lose. But speaking of their best player back, let's go to the East now, and their play-in race. It's not much of a race. The Bulls and Hawks have been kind of locked in for a while. But the 76ers getting Joel Embiid back, the return of Embiid, this is going to actually be interesting because they're sitting at the 7, trying to get that 6. But there's a chance that they face off against the Bucks in round 1, or they lose playing game to the Heat, which is going to be a good game if it ends up happening. Heat are at 8, 76ers are at 7. The Celtics are going to have to play either Philly or Miami in the first round, most likely this season in the playoffs. And then the Bucks are going to have to play the other team probably. So what do you guys think of those matchups? I know Orlando has jumped all the way up to the 3, which has been a shock to me. But just in terms of, the top teams having to play those 2 teams in the first round, do you think that the 76ers with a healthy, or not completely healthy probably, but with Joel Embiid to whatever capacity he can play out right now, and the Miami Heat, do you think either of those teams could cause trouble for Boston or Milwaukee in a 7-game series?
This is like the worst possible year to be a top seed in the NBA East
It's
and
awful.
West. Because
Yeah.
one, either you're gonna get the Heat who proved what they could do in the playoffs, especially even as a low seed. And this year, the Sixers' best player got hurt early and they dropped a lot. But now he came back right before he's coming back right before the playoffs. I don't think anyone wants to face, even though Joel Embiid has had many playoff struggles in the past. No one wants to face him in the first round because they're gonna either take a few games, extend the series. He's gonna be physical with your team. No one wants to go through that much in just the first round.
I think if you're the Celtics, you definitely want to play, I think, the Sixers over the Heat, just because the Heat have this pedigree of just being insane, just turning a switch and being a completely different team. I think you want to avoid that as much as possible until the later stages when you're, ready and you're battle tested and stuff. And also with Embiid, the Celtics have always done pretty well against Embiid. And I think he's still working his way up to full prime Embiid, right? So I think you want to get him now instead of later down in the playoffs. And also, I don't necessarily trust the supporting cast as much. On paper, at least, I don't think they're necessarily as good. I think you've seen, if anything happens to Embiid, they're just not the same team at all. I don't think they can really go play without him. So if he needs to rest or anything, they're kind of screwed. So, but the Miami thing is interesting because, Miami, I think could still, you can never count them out. There's just the way with Miami. Miami, imagine if one of these teams fucking loses to the Bulls or the Hawks in the play-in. Imagine, bro. That would be insane because that would be because last year didn't the Heat lost to the Hawks, right? And they almost lost to the Bulls.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, so if that happens, that would be.
He just need to get to the playoffs and they're good.
Yeah, once they're in the playoffs, it's over. But and then for the Bucks, the Bucks could still drop to the Magic though because the Bucks are still they're only a game ahead of the Magic, and then they're on a 3-7, run their last 10. And the whole Doc thing is bullshit. I don't know what the hell they're doing with him. It just seems like it's all over the place. But if the Magic at the 2 seed and then have to play Miami or have to play the Sixers, that's a horrible outcome for them.
Yeah.
If I'm them, I'd rather play the Pacers or something. But
Yeah.
shout out to the Magic. I didn't realize. I haven't checked the standings in a while. Shout out to them. It's also a shame that the Knicks are hurt and Randall's getting that season-ending surgery because I would really if one of the top teams got knocked out early, I'd really go all in on them trying to go deep. But yeah, Adam, what do you think about this?
I think it's an unfortunate situation if you're a top seed, both East and Western Conference. I think on the Eastern side, obviously you don't want to play the Sixers, who were a 3 seed. I mean, they were a top 3 seed before Embiid got injured. Embiid comes back now, and you have to face a guy that's always in MVP races, is a top 3 player, top 4 player in this league. I mean, I don't know how healthy he is, but him being on the floor in that time, people, forget to mention that in that time where Embiid was out, not only, do you get to continue to develop Tyrese Maxey to become a better player when Embiid's not on the floor, because he has, the ability to be that main scorer, so he's able to develop his game and deal with having to be the main guy. And now you've let guys like Tobias Harris get in a rhythm. You've let some of these other role players get in a rhythm. So I think that
clearly they were not in a rhythm because they dropped all the way down to the 8 seed, bro.
Well, I mean, but they're without their best player. If any team loses their best player, it's going to be tough for them. But when you give these guys a bigger role and allow them to have more opportunities to really work on their game in a live game situation, really opens it up for when they're asked to play a smaller role, that they can play that role a little bit better. And I think it's going to be tough for a team like Milwaukee, who would have to play the Sixers, or Boston if they'd have to play the Sixers. I don't think you'd want to play them. I'm not saying I would pick the Sixers, but it's not a favorable matchup. And then obviously the Heat, we've seen them do it before. At this point, it maybe be surprising if the Heat didn't pull off an upset the first round. So that would be my take on the East. But on the Western side, I think the Warriors are safe off playing. If they somehow manage to get into the playoffs. The Lakers, obviously, history has told you don't want to play the Lakers in the first round, even if you don't think they're winning in a series. Why would you want to play LeBron in the first round of the playoffs? He's only lost once in his career in the first round of the playoffs, so you don't want to play him.
You want to avoid the king.
I mean, in terms of the
He's
Kings,
going to be dethroned.
Well, you might
right there.
You don't want the Kings, but you don't want the king. You might want the Kings though, just because
I see.
just because tough injury for Kevin Herter. I'm not saying he's their whole team, but
and Malik Monk.
and Malik Monk too. But
Malik Monk, 6th man of the year.
Bro, that's that media training, bro.
Yes, sir.
That's Sports Center type shit, bro. He's gonna make it to the league.
I don't know. I'm not moved by the Kings. I don't think they're a crazy team without those two guys. I think you'd rather play the Kings. I think you'd rather play the Kings than the Lakers. In terms of the Pelicans, there was a point where they were at the 4. I think they're whatever. I don't know if I'd want to play them, but I think I'd rather play them than the Lakers. The Suns, I would not want to play in a 7-game series first round. I think that would be an unfortunate matchup. I mean, you look at all the veterans they have on that team, even outside of just the big 3, which obviously would be tough to play in the first round if you're a team like, OKC, who isn't as experienced as a team with Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker. Even look at the role players like Grayson Allen. I mean, they have some real veterans in there with a guy like Frank Vogel that has playoff experience. I would not want to play the Suns or the Lakers, but I have a feeling that maybe the Suns will grab the 6, but I think the Lakers will make the playoffs, get out of the play-in. And if I was a top seed in the West, I would hope that the Suns get the 6 so that I don't have to play them in that first round. But I think it'll probably be that's tough. Honestly, the Pelicans are kind of reeling. Give me the Kings.
Yeah.
Give me the Kings to make a surprise push, get the 8 seed. I think the Lakers get into the 8 seed, win the play-in game or whatever, the first game, get to the 7 seed. I think they'll face off with whoever's the 2. By the way, it's really crowded at the top 2. No one has any idea who's going to play anyone at this point. I mean, everyone half game back. We'll have probably more clarity next week. Well, we'll have complete clarity. But as the week goes on and, they play one or two of these games, we'll probably have more clarity. But I think it's great for the league that this is all so close at the end. I know there were a lot of complaints about the play-in tournament, but, I mean, it's good entertainment, right? We're still talking about it, about 7 and 8 seeds and 9 and 10 seed teams. So I think it's good. But before we wrap up here, we have to do a draft for today. And, I was thinking in honor of Cheyenne's terrible national championship pick and some players that are playing in the play-in here. You got some Kentucky players that are going to play in this play-in here. Let's do a Kentucky players in the NBA draft. Let's just do 3-on-3. Pick your team of 3. I'm going to give you guys some time to pull up the list so I can go first.
Okay. All right, I got it. So currently in the NBA, right?
Yeah, currently in the NBA, not how they were in college.
You
So
just Google it and then go to Real GM Cheyenne, and then you have the list in front of you. So
Real
if it
GM?
was,
yeah, just Google it and then you'll see the Real GM is one of the first things that comes up. It just gives you the current list of everyone in the NBA.
I would, dude. We could do a starting 5 if we wanted to.
Nah, bro. Just be quick. I gotta go to class.
All right.
All right, okay. I'll go first overall. Okay, I'll just start off. I'll go first overall. Give me Shea. Shea's my first pick.
All right. I'll go 2. Give me Devin Booker, Phoenix legend here.
Okay.
Shine, you got
2
next.
picks.
Give me Anthony Davis with my first pick. And with my second pick, I'm going to go with De'Aaron Fox.
All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the next great pick off the board. I'll take Karl Anthony Towns so that Rich is
going first is not the best move, I don't think, in retrospect.
There's one more big, but
I know Randall. I got Randall. Randall's my next pick. Oh wait, I know. Oh no.
Yeah. You see Bam?
You know what? Fuck it. Let's go offense. Offense, bro. We're going all offense out here. And then I need one more pick.
Yeah, one more pick.
Okay, let me just go through it. Is there anyone? Did you guys just take Jamal Murray already? Just out of curiosity.
No, I haven't taken Jamal Murray. I was gonna.
Well, I'm gonna zag and I'm gonna go with Tyrese Maxey. Why not?
Oh, well, okay. I'll take Jamal Murray then.
Yeah,
all right, so
damn.
Chris, what's your team?
I have Shea, Tyrese Maxey, and Randall. Fuck, right?
I have Jamal Murray, Devin Booker, and Karl Anthony Towns. And then Cheyenne, your last pick here.
Okay, should I go double big?
You could go with Bam here. Tyler Hero on the board, Malik Monk. Laker legend Jared Vanderbilt.
Okay, boys.
Johnny
You know what? We going double bigs. Give me Bam.
All right. So list out your team then.
I got De'Aaron Fox, AD, and Bam.
That's a good
no
team.
spacing,
That's
but
a good team.
we going dominate.
Yeah, I mean, Shea's a player though. So,
read out your team. Rich, read out your team one more time.
Okay, my team is Shea, Tyrese Maxey, and Randall. Fuck Randall.
What
I thought you were gonna pick Bam, bro.
What are you?
Yeah, I was looking at the list and I thought you meant by fucking Randall. I missed Bam. I don't know how.
I looked
He's nice to Murray too. Oh my god.
And then my team is Devin Booker, Jamal Murray, and Karl Anthony Towns.
Damn,
let us know down below who you think won. I think this one's pretty obvious.
I think it's me. Yeah.
Rich definitely didn't win.
I don't know, but
Julius Randle in the starting 5.
Nah, bro, mine's gonna be crazy, bro. It's gonna be like AD guarding like Devin Booker and like.
Yeah, good luck with that, man. Good luck with that. 3s beat 2s.
Oh, you took like there's a huge
we didn't even take Creator League legend DeMarcus Cousins. You could have paired
anymore.
Not in the league.
Well, yeah, that's true. I just meant like graduated Kentucky players. But you're right.
I would have taken Rob Dillingham.
He's only 30 years old though. He's still available to play.
Oh God, yeah.
All right.
Won a chip with the Lakers though.
We hope
a champ. Put some respect on his name.
We hope you guys have fun watching this last week of NBA basketball. If your team sucks, I'm sorry. It's great that the season's ending for you. I know Alex is so enjoy the offseason.
Over, yeah. The lottery's already big, bro.
If you're rocking with the Lake Show, just know we'll get into that play-in tournament. LeBron will get the job done. We'll get into the playoffs. But reminder, national championship tonight. Tune in, 6 o'clock. We will be there. Well, no, I will be there.
Yeah.
Chris will be
I mean,
watching,
Flex fucking probably.
and we'll be.
Yo, look at that.
So, yeah,
Huge.
I got to talk so you're not on the screen and showing that.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, my fault.
But anyways, let's get out of here. We thank you for watching. Pritch, final score prediction for tonight.
UConn 74, Purdue 66.
Purdue losing. I got the Boilermaker at slow scoring game, 68-64, close one. Zach Edey's the difference because he's the best player in America.
No.
First. Thanks for watching.
I think John McClain is the best player in America. But that's
all right, whatever you say. Tune in next week.
I think Rob Dillingham's the best player in America.
So shifty.
Shut up. All right. Tune in next week. We're finally time for the
You didn't
playoffs.
ask for my score prediction.
No one gives a fuck who
You said you're not watching the game.
I said I might watch the game.
All right.
He's gonna curse it. He's gonna make it like the opposite.
I was it as an avid UConn hater.
Fuck
I'm
off.
gonna pick Purdue winning 65
I lost.
to 60.
Nice. My team lost now. So
Yeah.
that's unfortunate. Well, thanks for watching today's episode.
Loki, this is more impressive than getting a perfect bracket, picking the most imperfect bracket.
Yeah, well, you're not great at picking brackets. By the way, our bracket challenge is on the line tonight. Me or RZ Lake, and Pritch can pass me too if I lose. But it's all on
If
Purdue.
if UConn loses, I'm gonna lose my girlfriend, which is like kind of insane.
Yeah, that's bad.
You know, that's
So,
it's
all right.
not a good world.
Before we go off a bad track, let's just end it there. Thanks for watching today's episode. We hope you enjoyed. Tune in next week. NBA playoffs. We'll have the matchups. We'll have the predictions for you. But
Yeah.
watching the game tonight. Purdue by 1 million. We'll see you later.
Peace.